Have you ever been catfished in this business? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Rosemary Lewis, your educator agent with eXp Realty, and today I am going to talk about the fact that some people are cray-cray and try to catfish us in the real estate business. But before I get into it, if you would do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, that way every time I post a video, you will know all about it. So let's get to it. So y'all, if you don't know what the term catfish means, because honestly, the first time I heard it, I had no idea what it meant either. It basically means that someone is pretending to be somebody who they are not. We hear this a lot on the online dating scene. A lot of times on social media, people try to catfish, post a picture pretending that they're somebody else. But it actually happens a lot of times in our real estate business. And I'm going to share with you an experience that I once had where someone tried to catfish me and just ways to guard against it. Y'all, I actually got a phone call one day from someone who said that they found me on YouTube. Holla! One of these videos that I posted, and they wanted to relocate to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they were like, Rosemary, I have to use you. And I'll tell you, that's what catfishers do sometimes. They really give you so many compliments. They only want to work with you. They only want to date you. They only want to see you, just really pump you up real good. So anyway, got into just a few conversations with this individual. They told me their criteria. They gave me background stories, all these different things. And me, I'm like Googling, trying to figure out, like, do I see them on LinkedIn? And I actually did. Like, I saw the name and the profile on LinkedIn. And it kind of sort of matched the story in which they were telling me. Well, long story short, this person told me over and over what their criteria was. And I just kept saying, I would love for us to have a consultation. I would love, in order for me to properly service you, I need to know more about your purchasing power. They claim to be a cash buyer, which is perfectly fine because it's a lot of people that got that money to spend. So it wasn't even weird to me at their price point that they were going to pay cash, right? But we need proof of it before I actually start working for you. So this is where it got interesting though, is because we would have all of these, and by all, I mean like 3 conversations. But when I got to, the next step, we need to schedule a consultation. Please send me over proof of funds. They were a little bit of a spin artist and things just were not adding up. And I'm going to tell you, when they don't add up, you just have to go with your gut. So long story short, they were from another state. The time was coming where they claimed that they were going to come here. They've been looking at these houses online. We're going to put in an offer. We're going to be so serious. And I said, that's perfect. However, I'm not even going to schedule a showing unless we have these ducks lined up in a row. So this is what I need you to do. I put the ball in their court before I would move forward. And guess what? Never heard from them again. Okay. Now, I will tell you that in my earlier real estate career, I may have done a lot more work. I may have scheduled the appointment, and foolishly, I may have even showed up because I was so hungry, right? And I wanted a client so bad that I may have put myself in harm's way, or if nothing else, just wasted my time with someone who wasn't who they claimed to be. And here's the thing, to this day, this person could have been who they claimed to be, but there were a lot of red flags. And because there were red flags, what did I do? I wanted to follow my process. And since they were unwilling to provide the information that I requested, I don't feel bad at all about how things ended up, because at the end of the day, I do not think that they were who they claimed to be. So why am I telling you this? Because I know in real estate, especially when we are newer agents, by the time you get a lead on the phone, someone who acts like they're excited, a lot of times we throw our processes out the window to go out and make that money. But because of your safety and because we don't want to waste time. We don't want to waste sellers' time, other agents' time, and we definitely do not want to put ourselves in harm's way. We have to go through some steps to ensure that you are not being catfished, because unfortunately, there are people out here that don't always have the greatest intentions. So here are a couple things that you can do. Number one, if someone calls you, I always immediately, I want to get them on a face-to-face consultation via Zoom. I don't want to meet them in person. I mean, and that's even myself. Even if someone comes to me by referral, one of my first steps with them is to schedule a Zoom consultation. And thank goodness that we have that capability, because I can see them face-to-face on Zoom. The next thing is that, especially if it's a buyer, I send them to my lender first. So I'm going to make sure that I'm asking all of the pre-qualification questions, and I'm going to send them to my lender, because the lender is going to get even more in-depth information, because we're never going to see a house anyway until I have your pre-approval. And in order to do that, the lender is going to know where they work, they're going to have their address, they're going to have their social security number. So someone who is kind of shady, they're never going to call the lender to give all of that information. So I make sure to send them to my lender to further validate who they are. Now, you may have a situation like the one that I just had. He said that he was a cash buyer, so there was no need for a lender. No problem. I still want to have that Zoom consultation. I also want you to send me a copy of your photo government issued ID, okay? And I want to see proof of funds. So homie, you better fork over your bank account. Now, of course, I want them to black out the numbers, but the name on the ID, right, needs to match the name on the bank account that I'm looking at, and that picture needs to match the person that I'm looking at on Zoom. And if we go through all of those processes, then 9 times out of 10, y'all, they are who they say they are. And if they're unwilling at any point, then I would definitely have a bit of pause before I went any further with them. And now, I know we're talking about real estate, but for all my homegirls that are out here dating, you might want to follow some of these processes when you go on these dates. I just watched a movie on Netflix that blew my mind, and FaceTime is your friend. So FaceTime the people to see exactly who they are before you go meet them or try to transact to do any business with them. Now, I hope this was helpful. I definitely do not want to be catfished, and I don't want you to be catfished. So please leave a comment. Tell me, have you ever experienced something with an ambiguous buyer or seller? And just share with me how that went for you. If you made it to the end of this video and you are not subscribed to my channel, what are you doing with your life? And real estate agents, don't forget, I have created 10 habits for insanely successful real estate agents. RosemaryLewis.com/freebie. You can download it right now. See y'all soon.